Malaysia was the biggest rubber producer in the world, yet they was so poor. Why? Can you just imagine? How many cars has been produced yearly? All these cars would need rubber for their tires. Still, Malaysia was so poor. Why? This is because the company that owned Malaysia Rubber Plantation was from the UK. This led to the famous event that never been untold for half a century. What if I told you that one of the most astonishing and covert operations in financial history wasn't carried out by high-stakes traders on Wall Street, but by a Malaysian Prime Minister and his secret team? The so-called attack on London, the Dawn Raid. In 1981, the London Stock Exchange was rocked by an unexpected attack. And no, this wasn't an act of terrorism or a cyber attack as we might think of today. It happened in just less than 4 hours. It was meticulously planned and executed under the radar. Nobody sees it coming. And it was all led by Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, the Malaysian Prime Minister at the time, in collaboration with a small, secret covert team. This operation marked the dawn of Sime Darby's legacy as the world's largest producer of certified sustainable palm oil. But the aftermath was bitter. The relationship between Malaysia and the UK was strained to the breaking point. Corporate interests in Britain were left in shock and dismay. Political motivations were questioned. This event even affected Anglo-Malaysian relations on multiple fronts. Suddenly, flight rights and student fees became contentious issues. The Brits canceled their subsidies for Malaysian students, making the cost to bear in pursuing higher education became questionable. Malaysia Airlines, the national carrier, was denied for a request for additional landing permission in Heathrow. Malaysia's response was firm. The government initiated a buy British last policy. They shifted to the east looking for a new partner. Japan and China opened their arm. That's the start of look to east policy, made by Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. That's the start of new era for Malaysia. The birth of Proton, their own national car. That's the start of Petronas going globally and becoming today's Fortune 500 company. That's the start of closer relationship between Japan, China, and Malaysia. The British felt humiliated, especially shareholders of Guthrie, a prestigious plantation company, and the pride of Britain, taken over in a span of mere minutes. Guthrie was not just any ordinary company. Guthrie was a pride of Britain, as a result from a colonization area in Southeast Asia. It was a massive agribusiness, second only to Harrison's in Crossfield in size. They owned extensive lands in Malaysia and were a significant presence on the London Stock Exchange. The Dawn Raid that secured Guthrie's future took place in a breathtaking 10 minutes, with almost 51% of the shares acquired swiftly. Permodalan Nasian Alberhud, a Malaysian company, was at the helm of this operation. The British came to know of their loss, not through the usual and official channels, but through the radio. Imagine that. Now, let's delve deeper. How was this economic assault masterminded by Malaysia in the year of 1981? Remember, Malaysia was still emerging on the world stage, having gained independence only 24 years earlier. But it wasn't just about economic growth. It was a statement. Malaysia, under the leadership of Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, was charting its own course. A lawyer by training, Mahathir was an unusual politician. He didn't smoke. He didn't play golf. His brand of leadership was different. He didn't come from an elite family. He just merely a doctor. Guthrie has been present in Malaysia from the beginning. They have heavy and mass influences on Malaysian economy. What Malaysian government says does not necessarily need to be adhere, yet still can be contestable. Guthrie's refusal to modernize and sustain long-term rubber production was a direct hit to Malaysia's economy. They didn't want to replace old rubber trees with new one. They just want to extract from the old tress until there are nothing left behind. Profit is priority. Sustainability comes second, and the Malaysian economy future is last. Britain's change of policies toward its former colonies, education subsidies cut off, and the refusal to increase landing rights for Malaysian airlines only added fuel to the fire. Request after request made by the government or object without even have the effort to at least consider it. They own the economics power that pay the Malaysian citizen to work. Mahathir is a doctor, and he sees this as a disease that needs to be cured. But not a mere medicine can settle the outbreak. Surgical operation needs to be conducted. Does this mean it came to a point where organ transplant need to be done? The sale of Guthrie assets without Malaysia's knowledge was the final straw. P&B, the Malaysian company who owned 25% of the share, was not even consulted. Mahathir decided it was time for action. Enough is enough. The longer it waits, the higher possibility that the patient will die. The patient of 18 million citizens. Malaysia. But it wasn't about nationalizing Guthrie. That could scare away foreign investment. Malaysia needs the investment to transform its economy. No, it had to be smarter. It had to be a takeover through the capital markets, leveraging on financial and legal instruments, just like how Britain likes to play with it. And for that, Malaysia needed capital. A lot of it. Study after study, research upon research. It finally concluded they need 1 billion Malaysian ringgit. Should we translate the money to current, it's probably worth of 320 billion Malaysian ringgit, the equivalent of nearly 75 billion US dollars today. Wow. Can you imagine that? The need to find the money, or the operation could not be done, and the patient would soon dies. Petronas, Malaysia's giant oil and gas company, came to offer their assistance. Securing the funds from Petronas and others was just the first step. The operation had to be quick, quiet, efficient. Partners in the UK, including Rothschild and Rowe and Pittman, were essential for success. The strategy was simple, yet audacious. Buy as much stock as possible, as fast as possible. UK alone would not do it. They need to buy shares from the minority shares holder as well. The purchase needs to be made in different locations. But for this plan to work, secrecy and speed were of the essence. While London is still asleep, the dawn of September 7th marked the beginning of an audacious bid to take over Guthrie, with share acquisitions happening at a frenetic pace. Despite a near hiccup with the ASBC group in Singapore, the mission pressed on. ASBC rejection may fail the mission, which has cost a fortune to Malaysia. One mission, if failed, will doom the country for a century. Malaysia never give up. Failed to persuade us BC. They tried to search for another ally. Malaysia reached out to Kuwait to seal the deal, and just like that, Guthrie was under Malaysian control. And they did. On the morning of September 7, 1981, Guthrie was theirs. But their victory was not celebrated openly. London is waking up that morning. The London Stock Exchange was in chaos. Guthrie's chairman found out through the radio. And Malaysia. This event wasn't just a takeover. It was a statement. It had made its point. Malaysia moved Guthrie's operations to Kuala Lumpur, marking a new chapter for the company, and in effect for Malaysia. But more than that, it showcased Malaysia's capabilities on the global stage. Sime Darby stands today, not just as a conglomerate, but as a symbol of that audacious move in 1981. For Malaysia, the Dawn Raid was more than a financial strategy. It was an assertion of sovereignty, a leap towards economic independence. As for London, this episode opened its eyes to a formidable player on the world stage, setting the tone for a relationship that, though tested, emerged stronger. In the aftermath, Britain tightened its exchange rules, but the event remained a lawful, albeit audacious acquisition. It didn't scare off foreign investment. In fact, it did the opposite. Sime Darby, after the merger and acquisition, now known as the world's largest producer of certified sustainable palm oil, is a testament to that. But beyond the financials, beyond the strategy, it was a statement of independence. A declaration that Malaysia was no longer a player, to be underestimated on the world stage. This operation, costly and complex, was worth every penny. For London, it was a wake-up call. And for Malaysia, a bold step into a new era. Ironically, both nations now become close allies, one who can accept the differences, yet cherish the common ideas. Proton, Malaysia National Car Manufacturing Company, has been granted an opportunity to be present in UK in 1997. Malaysia has been given a chance to host the Commonwealth Game in 1998. The late Queen Elizabeth came to Malaysia to show her support to once the colonized state, which now become an important member in Commonwealth. So, what do you think? Was it a master stroke of financial strategy, or a risky move that could have backfired disastrously? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos like this and much more. Check out this playlist of my top videos and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.